Good afternoon. Welcome to the Recovering Perfectionist Mama Grace in Progress podcast. I am Buffy, and if this is your first time joining us, welcome. Happy to have you. Just to give you a little bit of information about who I am and why I have a podcast, I'm a women's lifestyle creator on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, covering topics such as marriage and children, mindset, nutrition, mental health, fitness and nutrition, as well as affirmations and mindfulness and all the topics that concern women. I like to learn a lot of information and share it with others so that they can utilize that information if they can, and to be able to allow them to live the life that they want to live, model that for their children so that their children know what's possible, and ultimately that be part of your legacy, right? How wonderful would that be? So today we're going to talk about rebuilding friendship and marriage, finding our way back to us. You know that moment when you're sitting next to your spouse on the couch and you realize you've spent the last 30 minutes talking only about carpool schedules, dentist appointments, and who's picking up snacks for soccer. Somewhere between diapers and deadlines, we stopped being us and started being the management team. In this episode, we're talking about how to rebuild the friendship in your marriage, how to find your shared rhythm again, laugh more, and remember why you fell in love long before you became mom and dad. Welcome to the Recovering Perfectionist Mama Grace in Progress podcast, your space for honest conversations about motherhood, marriage, and womanhood altogether. Quick story. Let me tell you about the moment that I realized that my partner and I were actually more of kind of roommates rather than a shared to-do list of friends with inside jokes, right? Because when we first started doing date night, and this was like 2 to 3 years ago, I remember us going to a really nice place to have dinner, and we're having dinner, and we had that moment where, we kind of had the initial like talking about all sorts of things. And then it was like, okay, the kids. And then we realized that most of our date was spent on talking about the kids. At that time, we only had 4. Now we have 5. So of course, there's a lot more topics to fill the space with. And as they grow, new stories, new things to talk about, right? And so it was either that or work, So we weren't like the chummy friends. We were like the people who were like scoping each other out to see if we wanted to be friends, So how lame is that, right? So this episode isn't about overhauling your marriage. It's about remembering that before you were partners in parenting, you were partners in play. The shift from lovers to logistics managers. Honestly, it's a natural evolution of that. Once you're married for a little bit, and when you were newlyweds, it was just all about each other. And maybe you had animals too. Like I know we did. We had 3 chihuahuas and a cat. And so that was our life. And then when you have children, there's so many moving pieces with children. I mean, there's stuff, there's, their tears, their allergies, all sorts of things that you got to manage and you got to worry about. And then you got them going to school and then you got to teach them. I'm actually a homeschooling mom, so I do a lot of that. Anyway, so it's a lot of energy going toward caretaking, household management, and survival mode, because ultimately, just when you get comfortable, things are going to change. And also normalize the distance. You're not broken. You're just busy. You're both busy. And the identity shift from us to mom and dad is so different because, we even call each other mom, call each other dad, just because that's what the children call us. We would not want the children calling us by our first name. I would consider that to be extremely disrespectful. And I know that some people are okay with that. And, that's your choice, your children, your choice. When was the last time you looked at your partner and saw your friend, not your co-parent? Isn't that a tough question? Because ultimately you guys are like soldiers on a field doing what needs to be done, not worrying about, friends per se, worrying about getting through the day, right? Worried about making sure all the kids' needs are met. You're not worried about your needs being met. You're worried about the kids' needs being met. Take a quiet moment this week to watch your partner doing something ordinary, cooking, fixing something, laughing with the kids, and just notice them. No analysis, no judgment, just awareness. Finding shared ground again. You don't rebuild friendship with grand gestures. You rebuild it with micro moments. And micro moments are huge. Like micro moments are huge in parenting, right? Acknowledging and recognizing what your children are doing, just watching them and enjoying them in that moment, because that is the youngest they're ever going to be. Isn't that a tragic thought? The youngest they're going to be is at this moment. Shared hobbies reimagined. Think beyond date night. Shared fun can look like morning walks, cooking together, even binge watching a show that's just yours. Ask, what's something we used to love doing before life got so full? Encourage couples, right? We got to encourage each other, encourage other couples to try something new. We need to be willing to try something new. In our area, there's this thing called axe throwing. Anyone got axe throwing? I don't think I would trust myself to go axe throwing, to be honest with you. I might hurt someone or hurt myself. Who knows? Or my husband, for instance. Even small hobbies can rewire connection. Tip 2, inside joke survival. Talk about humor. Humor is fun, right? We all like to laugh. We all like to have a good time. I have more of a dramatic sense of humor. My husband is more understated, right? Humor is an emotional glue that keeps people together. On my TikTok channel, I actually did about finding the fun, and that's what the relationship was when it's new. Reinvigorate that. Make life fun. Don't make it drudgery. Don't make it all to-do lists. Don't make it all responsibilities. There's got to be some fun there too. Every couple has a language. Their language. Phrases, looks, stories that make you both laugh. Here's a challenge. Bring one inside joke back this week. Reference it playfully. It reignites connection. Connection is the glue that holds marriage together. It holds families together too. Tip 3, rediscovering curiosity. You already know their habits, but do you still know their dreams? Use what-if questions over dinner. What would you do if we had a year off and no responsibilities? What's something you want to learn next year? I have a lot of those. Curiosity builds intimacy, not just physical, but emotional. Talking about something other than the kids. Let's go there. Parenting talk is a love language, but it can't be the only one. This is why a lot of people stay together for their children, and then when their children are out of the house, guess what happens? The relationship is also gone because they've built their foundation on the children. And that's not fair to the children, and it's not fair to your partner, and it's not fair to you. So how to shift conversations gently? Start with shared memories. Remember that trip when? Future plans. Where should we go just us next? Gratitude. I loved when you. Discuss that we need to make non-parenting conversation a habit, right? That's what we need to do. That is our responsibility, our partner's responsibility, a shared responsibility. Get an accomplice in this, right? So that you are not, because it's so easy. It's a well-trodden path, isn't it? Children, 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 children. So non-parenting conversation should become a habit. Help each other. Tip, try 10-minute us time before bed. No logistics, no schedules, just connection. Ask, what made you laugh today? What are you most excited about right now? What's something you want to do differently this month? Let's talk about micro moments of connection. The friendship reset formula. Look up. Eye contact for 10 seconds. It rebuilds emotional attunement. Touch often. High fives. Shoulder squeezes. Playful touches. Playful touches. Small, frequent connection helps keep you bonded. Celebrate tiny wins. Say thank you out loud. Appreciation and gratitude go a long way. Appreciation is an antidote to resentment. Laugh daily. Humor lowers stress hormones. It's therapy disguised as fun. Action step. This week, choose one of these to practice daily. Small effort, big payoff. Rebuilding friendship and marriage isn't about finding your way back to who you were. It's about creating who you're becoming together. Even if it feels awkward or forced at first, keep showing up. The spark you're missing might just be buried under the noise of routine, and routine is a loud noise. Strong marriages aren't built on romance alone. They're built on laughter, friendship, and shared humanity. You were friends before you were parents, and that friendship still lives underneath the carpool, chaos, and calendars. In this episode, we've talked about how to rediscover the us energy with practical ways to reconnect, laugh more, and build fun back into your marriage. This week, pick one friendship ritual to bring back. Maybe a shared hobby, an inside joke, or 10 minutes of non-parenting talk before bed. Share your favorite way and your partner reconnect on Instagram at recovering_perfectionist_mama. I'd love to feature real stories from our community. Thanks again for tuning in, and I hope you will join us again soon, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.